It has been a while since we got some quality anime internet content, I guess you can consider these. Digimon, I mean, there was the movie last year, Zero to the Beginning, and the trading card game, from what I hear, is actually fairly popular for Digimon, but haven't gotten any new animes or movies or much of anything else other than that. Dot Hack has been dead for a while. And, of course, Battle Network had the Legacy Collection not that long ago, but, yeah, no new Mega Man stuff in general, nor Battle Network, other than some anniversary manga chapters, which were cool, but not much else. Until today, or more accurately, a few days ago when I'm recording and uploading this. This is Dot Monster ReVolution. So, I am sure you're wondering, Penguin CJP, what is this? Well, it is an anime-inspired light novel, but not only that, it is an internet monster-based anime-inspired light novel. So, we have been lacking in internet-based anime stuff, like Digimon and Dot Hack, and especially Battle Network. But the Digino, a anime YouTuber that makes Digimon videos primarily, but also stuff for, like, Metabots and the original Beyblade. A lot of 90s anime based on, like, Monster Battle Shonen. Made a book about his own internet-based Monster Battle Shonen, and I thought that it would be nice to kind of show it off, review it, and yeah, hopefully get some other Battle Network fans starred for new content, something to look into. You are not your account. In the wake of a historic cyber attack in the late 2020s, a governing body was formed to construct and police the successor to the World Wide Web. On this second internet, known as I2, 98% of users are accompanied by sophisticated partner programs called Dot Monsters. When a group of teenagers discover a truth about the Dot Monster origins, they wage war against the makers of the new internet to liberate human and monsters alike. So yeah, that is essentially what this book is about. During the late 2020s, they don't specify exactly when, they just say at 2020X, so another Mega Man Battle Network possible reference. A huge cyber attack appeared that destroyed everything. Planes were crashing, cars were crashing, everyone's bank account was getting drained. It was a catastrophe. So the government activated the second internet, which, funnily enough, they just kind of had ready to go on hand, and now everyone, or most everyone, navigates the internet, which is kind of like the metaverse in a way, where you control, like, an avatar, and, like, all of the ads and websites and stuff are, like, virtual hangouts and stuff. And they navigate it with Dot Monsters, which are virtual creatures, kind of like Digimon in terms of their designs. And we'll get into that. They kind of look more like Pokemon-esque in just like how they are designed typically. But also Digimon inspired in many ways. But the Dot Monsters themselves are kind of like NetNavis, where NetNavis are designed to serve a specific purpose, fight off viruses or control certain programs like heating systems and stuff. And that is what the Dot Monsters do. They all serve specific programs. The main character, Aki, here, her Dot Monster, Mamaru, is a antivirus, so fights viruses. That's what he can do. He can also serve as like a GPS, but his main function is for antivirus. Again, like NetNavis, they have more than one function, even though they are made to do specific things. And there's others too. There's Haru, another one of the main characters, and her dot monster, Seo, is meant to assist with social media. Because Haru is an influencer, and he helps her with, like, finding trends and uploading the right videos at the right times and stuff. So, yeah, I really like the concept here of essentially meshing together all that stuff, you know? You got the digital monster aspect of Digimon, you have NetNavis in there from Battle Network, and you also have the aspect of the real world and the virtual world being combined as Aki and the other main characters in this book, as I mentioned, to navigate the web in this world, you're essentially controlling an avatar through just like a virtual world. You're essentially playing a video game, more or less. And they do mention that VR is an option, but it's not like Sword Art Online, where everyone has VR. No, it's just some people have it, some people don't. Aki does not. She does not like VR. And they just kind of wander this world and through their computers. And they use their dot monsters, except for Aki. Aki does not like dot monsters. She doesn't like being inhibited with how she uses the web. In fact, she actually creates essentially a VPN, a tunnel to bypass the firewall that blocks people from accessing certain servers from other countries, because with I2, the new internet, the government forces people to pay for that stuff. And Aki, her mom, doesn't have money to do that, and she is a high schooler, and she doesn't have a job, so she doesn't have the money to do that. So she builds this VPN, which is illegal in this story, and she goes to the Tokyo server because she's actually from Tokyo originally. But her mom moved to Canada for work, so she is currently in Canada. But she wanted to meet her childhood friend, Haru, the influencer. And Haru wanted to take her to the Dotmon League. Obvious Pokemon reference, but also possibly Battle Network as well. I don't honestly know how big the DigiKnow is into Battle Network. I've been watching his stuff for over a year now, so I don't know exactly if he's made anything about Battle Network. From what I've seen, I haven't seen anything, but maybe there is some videos where he's talked about it in the past. So, yeah, I don't know if he's really into Battle Network or if it did inspire this book in any way. But there are a lot of similarities here. Again, like the Dotmon League being sort of like the various tournaments in Battle Network, where it is the 1v1 with the Dot Monsters, similar to the operators and their NetNavis. So that was very cool, and when they go there, they see the third main character, Rena, who is the current Dot Monster champion. Her and her partner, Iko, are the strongest Dot Monster fighters in Tokyo, in Japan, because, well, can't really be in the world anymore because the world is segmented thanks to the internet. But after that is done, Aki decides to leave. She wants to go back to her home server, and on her way, her VPN breaks and viruses pop out. They're called Reapers, and they start murdering her avatar. And if your avatar dies, your avatar is linked to your account, and your account is where all of your data is, because it's connected to a cloud. No one has their own storage anymore. So if her avatar dies, all of her files are gone. All of her pictures, videos, games, school projects, all of that gone. So she obviously freaks out, and she doesn't have a Dotmon to protect her. That is, until her Dot Monster Mamaru comes out from her avatar being in trouble because, well, he's an antivirus, and she didn't even know she had him because her mom just installed it. So she gets her own Dotmon, and there is a crack now in her firewall, in her VPN, I should say. She has to fix it, obviously, because if she doesn't, then the government, the ICC Corporation, who are the ones policing the internet, will arrest her for having a VPN. So she gets Haru to help her, and the crack actually leads into the first internet, the original internet. And while there are viruses on there, both Haru and Aki think it's beautiful. And not only that, but it kind of changes their dot monsters. Their dot monsters go from being very basic, very robotic. They always call you, like, user something. So, we will help you, user Aki. Something like that. Very robotic and stiff. Lifeless. But when they go into the first internet, they become more lifelike, more detailed, their eyes change color, and they actually have personalities. So Aki and Haru realize that something is going on here, something pretty big is happening. And they're kind of trying to figure it out. You know, it's not a big mission, a big priority, but they are curious. Why are their dot monsters suddenly conscious? And then the government, they actually do figure out that someone broke into the first internet. So they completely cut off all communications between Canada and Japan altogether. And, yeah, that causes a lot of issues. A lot of issues for a lot of people. So Aki, Haru, and they eventually get Rena on board as well. Go to the ICC firewall that is causing it all to be blocked, and try to take it down. And that leads into a bigger adventure where they are trying to fight the ICC and bring internet back to the rest of the world. So I'm not going to go through the rest of the story because this is an indie light novel. It was made by just a YouTuber on his off time. So I really wouldn't feel good about spoiling everything. There are a lot of twists, a lot of turns in this book about the villains, about where the dot monsters came from, what they actually are. And yeah, I don't want to spoil any of that because I do want people to check this out. I really do. If you are like me and you want more Battle Network stories, because there are some Battle Network successors. There are multiple games. Most recent one I can think of is that Card NCL game by the Gunvolt devs that plays like Battle Network. There are a lot of game successors that play like Battle Network, especially in recent years, but there aren't a whole lot of things that kind of capture the stories of Battle Network. The stories about people who bond over the internet. They use their programs to assist them with their friendships, with tackling challenges, like in Battle Network, with LAN and Mega Man, and I really do think that Aki and Mamaru are great main characters for that. They stand up to LAN and Mega Man as being great characters to follow for a story like that. You get to see their relationships bloom across this book. Same with all of the others, Haru and Seo. Rena and Iko don't get a whole lot of relationship growth in this book, but they were already pretty close from the very beginning, so makes sense. And there's some other characters that join the main cast later on, but won't spoil those. However, there is one giant problem with this book. It is the biggest problem with this book, is that this is a light novel, and light novels, most of the time, have art. I mean, you could see, that's Aki, or at least her avatar, here on the back of the book. So you know what she looks like. There is no art in the rest of this book. And you know, that's not a bad thing. That's not inherently a bad thing. Take Solo Leveling, for example. Another non-Japanese light novel that also has no pictures. Outside of this one illustration here on the front, at the beginning. This is the only piece of art in this book. So, light novels do not need to have art. A lot of them do, throughout the pages, mainly the Japanese ones. But they don't need them if you describe things well enough. And Dot Monster does describe things, but only sometimes. Like, there are a few Dot Monsters here where they just don't really describe what they look like. Like, my biggest example is early on, they fight one called Stick.Mom. Okay, what is it? Makes me think it's like a branch with a face. But then they say, well, it's called that because you get it when you order a fight stick, you know, like an arcade joystick. Okay. What does it look like then? Is it like an arcade machine with a face? Is it like a joystick with a face? I don't know. It never explains it. And there's no art, so I don't know what it looks like. And then it says it has blades. Okay, what does this thing look like? I don't know. The book doesn't explain. And that's not just limited to some Dot Monsters. One of the main characters, a few of them actually, but I'll just name one, Darwin. Eventually, they get a fourth member, Darwin. And, the book never explains what he looks like. We know where he's from, but we don't know what he looks like at all. It does not describe him whatsoever. There's a few characters like that, and that's kind of a big problem when all you have is text. Like, I'm gonna show some pieces of art that the Did You Know put up on the announcement video for when this came out. You know, it's good art, obviously. You know, you've got Aki here, but you got Mamoru, Aru, Sam, Rena, Iko. You know, nice art. And I understand, you know, getting art made of all of the characters would be a lot. It would take a lot of time, take a lot of money. But first of all, I don't understand why you have Aki here on the back, but no Mamoru, no Haru, Seo, Rena, Iko. None of their art is in this book, only on the announcement video. I guess it's maybe because that art wasn't finished by the time this was printed? Which, if so, okay, that's fine, I guess. But, like, if you're not gonna have art in the book, then you need to do a good job of describing what the characters and the monsters look like. And this book, unfortunately, doesn't. Like, even the ones where it does describe, it only gives, like, very basic descriptions. Like, for one of them, looks like a griffin. Okay, is that it? Is it just like a regular griffin? Like, I've seen the designs for the others. They're not just, like, regular things, so is it just a griffin? What is it? I don't know. It doesn't explain, and that is a huge problem. If a sequel comes out, did you know, if you are watching this, CJ Vaughn, or Van, I do apologize if I mispronounced that both times. If you are going to make a sequel to this, which I do hope you do, again, I love this book. I think this book is incredible. It tackles so many subjects. It tackles the possible future state of the internet in a realistic way. It tackles being a social media influencer, or even just like a simple small YouTuber, like me, just someone like posting things mainly on their downtime for fun. You know, like what mental state that can put you in. Thoughts about inferiority, about you know, your creations and your skills. What online friends are like. Are they real friends or not? Are your connections online any more valid than your connections in real life? You know, it tackles a lot of these questions in, I think, really cool ways. And the fights, while basic, are cool. They're epic. They are really fun and easy to read, even if the descriptions of them are simple. But the descriptions need to be in-depth for the monsters, because that's kind of the point of the book. And if they're not going to be complex, then you need to put the art of them in here. So that is the biggest issue with this book. So yeah, I just wanted to make this video to promote this book, put this review out there. I don't know if anyone's gonna watch it. If you do, if you like Battle Network and you are craving some more similar storytelling to that, this is an amazing book overall. Yes, I did have the big issue with the descriptions not being great, but other than that, like, it has a really good and honestly powerful story. At least to me, I related to this book and to some of the character struggles multiple times, especially Aki. Aki was very relatable to me, just from various struggles that I have had to deal with in my own personal life. So I really do think that the DigiKnow did a really decent job here, and I do want a sequel. The ending's left open enough anyway to where a sequel could easily be made. I don't know if he started one or if he even has any thoughts about doing a sequel. Maybe this will be it, and it'll have this sort of open-ended ending where it can continue, or it'll just stay as it is. Which, if that's the case, that's fine. But I definitely would recommend this book. Just, if you are going to make a next one, DigiKnow, please make sure you describe the monsters a bit better, and also the main characters, because they're kind of important, kind of the main characters. So yeah, good book. Thank you guys for watching.